Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and thank you for having me. So my name is Bryan Thompson-Nowak, as Dorothy just said. I'm from the Mars Arboretum, which is a part of the University of Pennsylvania. I'm not going to be quite as bold and go for 4 programs. I'm just going to do one. So we have a little over a decade now of doing a freshman class tree planting program. So it's been a great tradition that we started before my time. It's a donor and alumni came to us with this idea, and we thought it was great between the Mars Arboretum himself and the University of Pennsylvania. So as you can see here, it's with the students are always happy, the freshmen and the tree and the mascot and everything. It's a great photo op, and it's a great time to get freshmen like really involved in a part of the natural life in trees right in their first semester. So you can go on to the next slide, please. So like it says here, it all starts with 3 trees and a vote. Even I will say, I work on this. I start organizing this, I think, in June, prior to the freshmen even getting here. So it starts well before the 3 trees and a vote. I have to organize. We're a big university with a big facilities department and lots of different facilities departments. So one team handles the hole digging, another team handles the plaque arranging, another team actually handles the planting. So you can't go away from that schedule. That's how it has to be here. But we start with the students. We work with the university landscape architect to have the location decided ahead of time, and they give us a list of trees that would work well in that site. And then the one thing we always make sure we do it every year is to make sure those trees are actually available in the trade. We made that mistake once, that we let students vote on a tree that didn't exist, and they chose it, of course, and it was hard to find. So we make sure these trees are available in the trade and at the size and the shape that we want. And once they vote on a tree, which happens right after the incoming freshman class president is elected in early October. So this all happens pretty quickly. So early October, the freshman class president's elected based on the survey, and we have to have this voted on and ready by homecoming, which is the first weekend in Saturday. So it moves pretty quick once they get here. So you can move on to the next slide. And as you can see, we do it up pretty good. This is homecoming at Penn. So there's a football game early in the afternoon, and this freshman class tree has been brought right into the homecoming tradition. So students are only here on campus, the freshmen, just for a little over a month. And this tree is front and center, one of the first things they can vote on as a freshman class. And they'll have it, and the whole intention of this being the freshman class tree is they have it for their time as a freshman all the way through the time they graduate as a senior. And if they come back for homecoming, they can still see their tree growing. So this is, we always have a nice lineup of speakers. This is our Arboretum Executive Director, Bill Kalina. This is actually his first time doing this. He came to us about 2 years ago, and his son was a freshman at Penn that year. So we had a nice special talk about his son actually being there, and then the tree was there for his class. So we have our Director Bill, and the next slide is actually our funder. So this is another Bill. This is Bill Hones. He lives in Florida, but he comes up every year. And what's really great is this engages alumni. So he comes up every year for the homecoming, but mostly he loves engaging with students. So he loves engaging with students. He loves the whole idea of the trees and the trees growing as students grow at Penn and grow on beyond Penn. And he actually endowed us for life because he sees these trees growing for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, these students having connections with these trees. And next slide, please. And we also get the freshman class president. So the freshman class president gets to share a few words about their class. This is very early on in their time, obviously, but what it means to them in their class. So it gets them invested in these trees. We've had stories of over the years of different homecomings, the freshman class or the class officers meet their trees. They actually take a liking to their trees, and they feel invested in their trees. And I've had many students with the plaque is missing, the tree is damaged. They'll email facilities or me and say, what's wrong with the tree? Is it dying? The plaque is missing. So they definitely take notice of their trees, and and they like them. So it's really impressive how well this has worked. Next slide, please. So this also creates some really great photo opportunities. I feel like everything these days needs to be, not everything, but needs to be social media ready, but it creates a lot of great opportunities for that freshman class. We probably stay there for a good 30 minutes or an hour after the dedication with our chrome shovels, and the freshmen just come by and they want selfies with the tree. They want selfies, adding mulch to the trees. So we must have 50 or 100 kids come by over that hour. They want selfies with it. They want to have the plaque and the image with the shovels and the tree, and they always ask questions about the tree. What type is it? And they don't always know exactly what they chose, but they know they chose it. So it's a great opportunity for them to see the tree. And then we put a plaque in the ground. As you can see, I have a sticker there. The plaque takes a long time to make, so I put a sticker there for the dedication, but eventually they all get a big brass plaque that gets put in the ground so they can always find it and know it's for their class. And next slide, please. And then, and like many of your campuses, our campus is a campus arboretum, so it's I believe it's a level 2 arboretum. So all the trees are mapped, identified, and tagged. So we actually add this to the class tree tour. So we can do tours. If any of you else have BG Map and BG Base or something similar, I'm sure you do likewise. We add this to our class tree tour, and you can see all the trees, all the class trees going back to 2010. The number of votes that they got, who the class president was, the type of tree that it is, all the information around it, so they can always, if you forget where your tree is or you wonder where a certain class tree is, you can always find it and it'll go right to that. And all of our class trees over the past 10 years have all been very centralized. It's our main library and campus thoroughfare that they've all been, as you can see here, in a very small window. So you can pretty much get to all the class trees within just a few minute walk. And then this is, like I said, it's put on Penn Plant Explorer, so they can always find it. And we add this usually once the tree is in the ground, we add on there and we just add more and more. So I think I'm right about a time at 7 minutes. I'll stop there. I think next slide. I'm not sure if I have a next slide. There you go. So thank you. There's my email if you have questions about how we did this, how we got started, and the mechanics on it. We also have the Penn Plant Explorer website if you want to see our trees and how they're spread out. And also there's the Mars Arboretum link. So, and unfortunately, like a lot of you, we're not on campus. We're 13 miles off campus. So I'm not on Penn's campus. I coordinate this from a little bit farther away. So we always try and get the students out here to the Arboretum as much as possible. But yeah, so that is all I have for everyone. And I'll see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Bryan. I just absolutely love this program.
Thank you.
It's seemingly simple, but it's so powerful, and you can see how it really connects the students to the landscape and to the nature. We have a question from Tamberly. Tamberly, this is a nice juicy question. I'm wondering if you would unmute yourself and ask it yourself.
Sure, certainly. Thank you, Dorothy. Wow, what beautiful program, Bryan. Thank you so much for sharing this and planting the seed for other campuses. But I'm wondering, this has been kind of a conversation among the community around nature and forest therapy and the forest communities, that we're serving. But I wonder if you've done any like tree planting and then had any nature and forest therapy conducted around the planting so that people have a more sensory connection to them, and then having these like post-planting events where people could come back out and do this nature and forest therapy practice, and then maybe weaving in any kind of opportunities for education around forest health, because we know forest health issues are just rampant, and there's a direct relationship between forest health and human health. So when trees are sick and die, then we do too. So I'm just wondering if you have anything going on around that.
Yes, I would say not yet. On the day, this is homecoming, so there's usually the marching band is going past, and there's speakers and there's bands. So on the day of, I'm not sure if forest bathing would work out very well to connect. But we're planning, our Nature RX program was about, and another programs with this was about to launch in the spring of 20. So as you can imagine, everything got put on pause a little bit. So we're just about ready to relaunch all these ideas and all these things. And I think there are some great ideas of ways to bring students back to reconnect with these trees. That's not yet, but I love the idea, and I think it's something we can put into the idea for it to definitely look at. But I think a way to get these kids connected with the trees, with the campus arboretum and all the places around Penn is essential as we move forward.